Welcome into Around the Felt, episode number 43. Crazy to say that. We're getting close to that number 50. But let's get into it, man. Week 17 already. Come on now.
It is crazy, Reagan. A lot of news. We're recording on a Wednesday. We just recorded on Tuesday. So for a 24-hour span to have this much going on in the NFL, I mean, it's the crunch time of the season.
Yeah, speaking of that, so you're listening on a Friday. That's why. So there might be more breaking news. We're recording it Wednesday night. You're listening on a Friday or Saturday. So a lot might change in between now and then. So always keep that in mind.
Yeah, your boy's going to be at the Pinstripe Bowl tomorrow. So got to record on a Wednesday. Started off, man. The Broncos bench Russell Wilson for the remainder of the season to avoid the injury guarantees in his contract for 2025. They're going to roll with Jarrett Stidham, even though they're not technically mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Reagan, was this move shocking to you like it was to me?
Well, yeah, because it's only shocking in the sense that they're not mathematically eliminated. Like, it doesn't shock me that they do that, but the fact that they still have a chance is wild to be doing that because Russ is having a good season. He's having a decent season. I'm not going to say a good season.
Statistically, it looks good, but the offense has been struggling as of late.
Yes. Outside of the last, basically the end of the fourth quarter, they looked terrible against the Patriots. It took them a while to wake up. And, yeah, it's better than last year, but he doesn't seem like the same Seattle Russ, unfortunately.
No, and we've seen this in the past. I mean, the Raiders did it last year with Derek Carr. We've seen it happen with Garoppolo. Just because if he were to suffer a serious injury, that money in 2025 would be fully guaranteed. So they're already on the hook for 24, but it just gives them financial flexibility that if Sean Payton feels like he has a better option, you already have the lost costs. The dead cap's already hitting for 24. That's a sunk cost. You can't take that in consideration. I do what's best for the future. It just gives them more flexibility for 2025, and they can move on from after this year. It'll be interesting to see, man. I can't think of any landing spots off the top of my head, like a team that would want to bring in Russ next season, but
because that whole thing with Kyler we were talking about is the contract's massive. Kyler at least is still in his 20s. Russ is what, 33, 34?
No, he's 35, I believe.
That's what I'm saying though. He's getting up there in age. His prime is past him.
Yeah, and the Raiders this year are on the hook for some money from Derek Carr still. They just released him and he could sign wherever he wanted. Yeah. They still had to pay him. It's most likely to be the same thing. It looks like Russell Wilson, barring injury to Jarrett Stidham, has played his last snap as a Denver Bronco. The Giants named Tyrod Taylor the starter this Sunday versus the Rams over Tommy Cutlets. Reagan, we talked about this yesterday. I don't agree with the move. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I also do not agree with the move. I mean, for you could yell, let's go Big Blue, but I feel like as a Giants fan, you're not happy about this either because, to be honest, Tyrod is the better player, but it just still doesn't make sense because, like we already talked about, you want to play the guy with youth, give him more experience because it seems like Cutlets will be your backup for the near future. And if Daniel Jones isn't ready to go next year or you have a rookie quarterback and you want to let him learn a little bit, you're just hurting your chances and DeVito's growth, I'd say, at this point.
Yeah, it's odd. I mean, Tyrod does give him the best chance to win right now, but you're already mathematically eliminated. You're picking fifth. You can move up as high as 3. So in that sense, it doesn't really make sense. Tyrod's off the team in 2 weeks, literally off the team, not under contract, and they're not bringing him back because you're
get out of here.
Locked in. So it is weird, but it does show, I guess, the guys in the locker room that the regime is not giving up, that the coaching staff's not giving up, and I know it's that intangible impact, but at the end of the day, I don't necessarily agree with it. Now, the biggest thing that I like about it is I'm in my Superflex finals, Reagan.
Amazing.
Who's my QB1? Justin Herbert, out for the year.
Oof.
Who's my QB2? Russell Wilson. Benched. So I picked up Tyrod off of waivers.
Tyrod Taylor.
Last week, my quarterbacks were Russell Wilson and Bryce Young. This week, I'm rolling with Tyrod Taylor and Will Levis in the finals, baby. Gotta love fantasy football.
Well, congratulations on your championship, good sir.
Well, I didn't win it yet, but we're in it.
You're a lock. You're a lock.
Yeah, that's right. Tyrod's gonna go off on Sunday.
What are we gonna do? Slurm it.
In other quarterback news, another benching. Sam Howell benched for the remainder of the season. Jacoby Brissett to take over this after Howell got benched in both games previously. Man, Reagan.
I mean, this one, in the same perspective of Cutlets, just doesn't make sense. But this one's slightly different just because I guess you would have to say all confidence has been lost. It's got to be devastating on a young quarterback. You're playing a team you can beat. You're not having any success. Then you get benched. Your backup comes in, brings you guys back to the point where all you need is a 50-something yard kick to not go in and you win the game. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think his confidence is shattered right now, where I think it would be good for us. It would almost hurt his development for him to continue to play right now. And also I think they just got to kind of wait and go into the offseason with a new coach and see what happens from there. But
yeah, I don't know if you saw Brissett's comments after last game, but they were just asking about Howell and something about his confidence. And I don't know it verbatim. It was a freaking book. I'm not gonna lie, but it was just mostly like, I hope you can lean on me and understand this league's full of a bunch of ups and downs, and this will define your career.
Which is true.
And, I mean, if Sam Howell's going to be in the building next year, I mean, I'd imagine he's very cost effective given where he was drafted. But I think it's highly likely Washington takes a quarterback in the first round. And with Arizona ahead of him, who's going to stick with Kyler. And like you mentioned, Reagan, if the Bears do decide to stick with Justin Fields, with a new ownership group and a new staff in place, could the Commanders move up to number 1 to take Caleb Williams if that pick is available?
Well, bring the hometown kid home, huh?
I think that would be something they would seriously consider.
Yeah.
And honestly, it sucks for the Giants because now it looks like Washington's fully in the quarterback market. So if the Giants were going to go quarterback in your division, they're right ahead of you. So we need Jacoby Brissett masterclass game against either San Francisco or Dallas so the Giants can jump them in the draft order.
Yeah, because this is a Giants podcast, and that's the
I'm
only
just saying
effect.
as a fan, that's
no,
my 2 cents.
I'm messing with you. But yeah, no, I think honestly, like from a gambling perspective, do we sprinkle Washington, Caleb Williams landing spot? Like
I don't know.
I think it's happening,
but
I think you just convinced me.
That is very intriguing.
Yeah, it really is. They do see, and honestly, the hometown reunion too. Like he's from right around that area, so. Actually,
that's why he doesn't want to play for the Bears.
Cool story. My cousin's boyfriend went to the same high school as him and knew Caleb Williams as a kid at Gonzaga High School. So that's
cool. Did you have anything to say about Caleb? Was Caleb a cool guy, or?
From what he said, he didn't know him like super well, but well enough that I think they follow each other on Instagram. So maybe we got a future interview.
Whoa! You never know. Yo, Caleb, if you're listening, bro, we want you on. We want you on.
Yeah, one of my buddies, he plays video games with him, and he like sends him beats all the time and everything.
Are you serious?
Sick. Yeah.
Wow.
One of my teammates up in Maine, he's actually from Brick, New Jersey, and he just like plays video games.
Oh, we may have a couple ins with Caleb Williams. Might have to make that interview happen, and Colin will be like, "Why didn't you come to the Giants, bro?"
He's a pretty cool guy, though.
Man, that's interesting. Jair Alexander suspended by the Packers for this upcoming game on Sunday following the whole coin toss incident. Did you see the interview?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. He was like, "That's my hometown. I got to be out there," and then walks out there and just completely fucks up the coin toss.
The reporter's like, "Yeah, but your coaches didn't say you can go out there." He goes, "Nah, my boys were backing me up." I'm like, oh,
so he just walked out there, fucked up the coin toss because he didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, and then
he's like, "No, we want to play defense," and the refs are like, "Are you sure you want to defer?" He's like, "I want my boys on defense," and they were like, "No, we're gonna take the ball. We're gonna take the ball." Yeah, so now Jair is suspended, and they have the Minnesota Vikings on deck with Justin Jefferson, and the Packers are getting lit up by everyone. So now no Jair, man.
And no Hawkinson too. So
yeah, Nick Mullins
seems
and
like a
Justin
good matchup
Jefferson
for Addison and Jefferson.
If Addison plays, yeah. Very, very good if you're a Justin Jefferson holder. Yeah, finally, Ramondre Stevenson has not played the last few weeks. He was officially placed on IR, ending his season. A disappointing one, to say the least.
Well, that's why I was saying Zeke's a league winner. You had to pick him up. I hope you did. He's getting crazy volume. This is the best we've seen the Patriots offense look all season with Zappe, which is crazy to say because who would have thought that we'd actually see a decent Patriots offense. But they've been producing. They've been putting up points lately. So, to me, you got to go pick up Zeke if you still can. Like, I'm in a spot where I think I'm going to be starting Zeke over Jonathan Taylor. I did it last week, and I think I'm going to do it again this week.
Who would have guessed that at the beginning of the season?
Not
in
me.
The finals.
Yeah.
I'm benching JT for Zeke.
Yeah, not me, but sure enough, I am.
That's still a bold call out of you.
Yeah, it worked out well last week.
Yeah, it did. All right, that wraps up the news. Joe, what do we got for questions?
All right, let's start it off with Austin.
Austin! Don't ever do that again.
Why? Could you do it better?
No.
Well, let's see.
Dude, I hate when you always do this. I'm not doing that. I just said don't ever do it again, and you tell me to do it. Like, I'm not doing it.
Come on, let's see. Yeah.
Austin!
All right, Zach.
Austin!
Colin, come on.
Austin!
Oh!
There you go.
Oh, now let me do my call. Dude, don't ever do that again.
Yeah, let's take this serious.
Cut
guys.
that out. Cut that out.
Okay.
That's not gonna
Will or
cut.
can Stroud still win the Rookie of the Year?
Wait, he said about Stroud winning Rookie of the Year. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got into this at the end of the last podcast, but I think it's a great debate still. I would say, yeah, as long as he plays, and the fact that if he plays well, that means they probably make the playoffs. That means he has an even better chance. But I guess if they lose the next two games and he plays bad, but I think it's between him and Puka at this point. I actually do think Puka can still do it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, right now the books have it at like what minus 1,500 to Stroud, minus 1,600.
Plus 500 on Puka.
He's in stage 4 of the concussion protocol, practice limited basis today, so it looks like he is going to be back.
Which we expected,
in a huge matchup against, I believe, Tennessee.
Yep. So, and then they got the Colts the following week.
2 division matchups, 2 games they have to win to sneak into the playoffs. If they win out, I believe it's Stroud's award to lose. But if he puts up a couple duds, it opens the door for Nakua. I'd still say Stroud is going to win it. The quarterbacks usually win these type of awards.
Yeah, it is the Colts. Yeah, I mean, it just sucks because Nakua's having such a good year, but so is Stroud. But you know what I mean? Like, to break the receiving records as a rookie and not get the Rookie of the Year, it's unfortunate, but it just shows.
It happened when Herbert.
But it's the same thing with the MVP.
Herbert won it over Jefferson.
And it's the same thing with the MVP. It's just the quarterback. The quarterback's always going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yep, except for when Saquon beat out Baker. But Saquon had 2,000 total yards, so.
Yeah, Nakua does not have that.
Who is your guys' favorite player in this year's rookie class?
My favorite player in this year's rookie class?
Honestly, Puka is one of my favorite to watch. He's just really fun to watch because the fact that he just gets so much volume and can do so much after the catch. I mean, that Saints game last week, he was making some crazy contested catches, and the fact that he's a 5th-round pick just makes it that much more impressive. And then if I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball, I've really liked watching Witherspoon. Seems like he gets around the field a lot, very athletic, and seems primed to be one of the best corners in the league going forward.
I like both running backs a lot, Bijan and Gibbs. I think the way they make defenders miss is a lot of fun to watch. Especially, I mean, Gibbs last week, man, that was disgusting.
Gibbs has been like crazy
when you
elusive.
Just see when you can see guys that just move differently from everyone else on an NFL field. I think that's really intriguing. Man, defensively, I'm going to shout out my guy, Gervon Dexter, defensive tackle for the Bears. He's very quietly turned it on the second half of the season, a big reason that their defense has turned around as well. He's actually has very similar numbers to Jalen Carter, because Jalen Carter slowed down the second half of the season while Gervon Dexter is heated up. He was picked out of the University of Florida. Go Gators, former 5-star recruit. So
and he's big against the run, right? That's his biggest suit, right?
Yeah, he always had the traits to be a good pass rusher, but never really put it together at Florida. Like, he didn't really have a lot of sacks, but hopefully he could put those tools together because the Bears need all the help they can get in the defensive front. And with Dexter's resurgence and adding Montez Sweat,
I was going to say, it seems like Sweat's opening up a lot for that defense.
Defense is taking a step forward.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right, and he wants to know who your guys' 7 teams are from each conference to make the playoffs. So basically, like right now, he wants to know.
Okay, so I'm going to say the Dolphins are going to get the 1. I don't know. No, I'm going to say, because I do think the Dolphins beat the Ravens this week, but then I think the Dolphins lose to the Bills.
That one, man.
But then I do think the Dolphins lose to the Bills. So I'm going to say the Ravens get the 1 still. The Dolphins are the 2. Chiefs are at 3.
Who wins that division? The Jags?
The Jags got the Panthers, and then they got, I believe, the Titans. Yeah, the Panthers and the Titans, so it's like...
It's a soft schedule, man.
But then again, you know what? No. Texans at 4.
Wow.
Because I could just see Jacksonville still losing both games, man. They're so fraudulent to me. Browns at 5, Bills at 6, and then 7... I think Pittsburgh sneaks in and gets a 7 seed. I really do.
Yeah, flop in Houston for Jacksonville for me.
Oh, wait. No, you can keep going, but I just want to see something.
I don't know who's going to get that 7, man. It's just so wide open. Like, do I have faith in the Colts? No. I think they lose this week. I do think Pittsburgh wins this week against Seattle.
Yeah. No, I guess, yeah. Yeah, Pittsburgh would be getting in at 7. Yep.
I do. Yeah, I picked Pittsburgh to win this week in Seattle, and I think Indianapolis loses.
I think Indy loses out.
I think the Steelers are going to go 9-8.
Yeah, I think Indy loses out, so I think I have them out. So I have Pittsburgh getting that last spot at 9-8.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville wins the South. So just swap Jacksonville for me, and I agree with your standings there for the AFC.
Okay, you want to go out? You want to go out to the NFC? Would you like that?
Yeah, let's go out to the NFC, Reagan.
Yeah, so I see the 49ers winning out, so they're going to keep that 1 seed.
I agree.
Philly is going to get the 2 seed.
I agree.
I have Detroit actually losing their next 2, but they'll still stay in at the 3 seed. I have Tampa Bay getting the 4.
I agree.
Dallas will stay at the 5.
I agree.
The Rams will get 6.
I agree.
And then I believe Seattle will stay in at 7, while I do think they lose this week, and I think I don't know.
Who does
Actually,
Seattle
no.
have week 18?
It basically comes down to, they're going to beat the Cardinals week 18. So I don't know who has the head-to-head between them and Minnesota.
Because I want to say Minnesota, but
I don't know where the tiebreakers come there because they haven't played each other this year. They both would end up being...
What's the conference record?
They would both end up being, if Minnesota went... Oh, wait, no, Minnesota... They have 2 more conference games. Yeah, Minnesota, if they won out, they would be 8-4 to Seattle, 7-5. So, yes, I have Minnesota in at the 7.
I agree. I think Seattle does not get in.
Yeah.
I don't think Seattle because I think Minnesota's going to win this week. I think they have a smash.
I think Minnesota's going to win out.
A smash matchup against
I think
the Packers.
Minnesota's going to win out because I think Detroit's going to be benching guys because they're not going to have anything to play for.
That's a good point.
After
Detroit's
losing this
gonna be
week, they're going to be locked into the 3.
Nah, I don't know about that. If they lose this week, if they lose and Philly wins, then they can't get to the 2 because
yes, and that's what's going to happen.
Campbell did say that they're still shooting for that 2 seed. But yeah, I agree. I do think they lose this week to Dallas. I think Minnesota wins. I think Seattle loses. I have the same 7, Reagan.
Yep. Cool. Good question, Austin.
Only one difference is the AFC South.
Bye-bye.
Next, we got Jared, and he has a punishment idea. Loser needs to do the record yourself getting ready to do a very normal task video thing. I'll send it to Joe for reference.
No, I saw this. Someone said that.
I don't know what that means.
No, you didn't see. Someone said that to me today, bro. It's actually so funny you said that. Someone sent it to me. Like, someone said this has to be the punishment. It's like some dude, and he's like going throughout his day, and he records himself like taking a shower, getting changed, going to the grocery store, just setting up a camera across the store of him like picking up produce, and then as he's like in the checkout line, like the lady's bagging his shit, and like she peeks at the camera, and it's just him just standing there like setting up the camera. Then he walks out of the store, has to walk back over to get his camera, sets it up outside the store all the way over, and it's him walking through the parking lot, and it's the most ridiculous. The amount of time you take to make that video, it's so ridiculous.
Jared sent me that video, and on the caption on the video is Jalen Hurts if like 250-pound men are not pushing his butt.
Yeah, it's a very cringy video. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, yeah, that would be pretty funny to do.
They're hilarious. Is that all we got?
Yeah, that's all we got. But I got a question. New Year's is coming around, so what's your guys' New Year's resolutions?
Oh, I got one for you, man. Get better at the big bets.
I got one to you. Come up with some new crap. I'm mad.
Bud's pissed.
My resolution is to find a new co-host. Jake's takes. Come on down, buddy. Yeah, I'd say probably just to be the best version of myself, you know. Really work on myself and be the Reagan I want to be.
You know, I don't think I know enough stats. So I'm gonna hit the books this New Year's, and I'm gonna get some more stats for you guys. I gotta improve my stat game.
Yeah, for sure. Probably try to get laid a couple more times this year.
Probably run off. I'd probably need to run off all the food and beer I've drinking from these punishments.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Losing 5 to 10 pounds wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah. My goal is to not come in like 30 pounds heavier next year since it'll be a full year of punishments versus a third.
Oh, my God. That's good.
All right. Any other questions?
Charlie, you got anything?
No, not off the top of my head.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to hop in these Week 17 ball games.
This interview with New Mexico State long snapper Charlie Eberlie is brought to you by Worst Manhattan, the best. If you want to get a bottle today, check out their website and use the Store Finder tool to find out where you can get a bottle at a store near you.
Welcome back in, everyone. We are honored for the first interview in Around the Felt history to have on Charlie Eberlie, long snapper for New Mexico State. Charlie, how are we doing today, brother?
What's going on, boys? It's a
Hey.
pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're absolutely pumped. Charlie, lifelong friend, played ball for many, many years. Now, Charlie, can you talk about your background and how you ended up at New Mexico State?
So, coming out of Voorhees High School, I graduated in 2019. I went to Ithaca College originally to play linebacker, which is a Division III school in New York.
The Bombers.
The Bombers, yep. I had a little stint there. I started long snapping, well, all the way back in 5th grade for my brother George, who couldn't be with us. He was taking a nap.
I was going to say, wait, finish that sentence. Couldn't be with us.
Couldn't be with us. And then, so I started long snapping in 5th grade with him. And then it led all the way up to high school. Through high school, got to Ithaca College, didn't really take it seriously. And then we had a JV team where I started long snapping and I got filmed there. So then COVID happened and I was like, screw it, why not try to take a chance and go Division I to play long snapper and just do that, no more linebacker or anything. So I got a couple offers from like Stony Brook and the University of Maine. And I went to the University of Maine, redshirted my first year, started my second year, got some good film. And some of the coaches at New Mexico State, where my brother was playing at the time, saw my film, and I graduate transferred to New Mexico State, and I started there this past year. We had a pretty good season.
Absolutely. The best season in Mexico State history? Am I wrong?
Apparently, that's what they say.
Is that because Charlie Eberlie came over and started snapping?
It might have to be something to do with the Charlie
it's
Eberlie
definitely
effect.
part of the equation.
Yeah,
so you got your undergrad at UMaine, and now you're
Yep.
doing your grad degree at New Mexico State.
Yep.
Books first.
My MBA.
Books first, yes.
Graduate
That's
student.
what they say. Student athlete. didn't leave that at high school. Took it with you.
This guy's student first. He's getting his MBA right now.
Student
Student
first.
first. Snapper
Wow.
second.
Graduate degree, baby.
You young kids out there, following his footsteps.
Tip the cap. Now, Charlie, here at Around the Felt, we want to personally congratulate you for being named second team All-Conference USA.
Thank you.
Now, when you decided to snap full-time, did you imagine that you'd be where you are now?
Honestly, no. I kind of set the goals high, but I never really thought that I would get to like this level as like where I'm at now. But I mean, like coming out of it, I kind of have good coaches, and I got to give all the credit to them because I wouldn't be where I am like without them. And then obviously my brother, we have a field goal post in our yard, so we've been training there for since I think it was the Giants' first Super Bowl. That was when it was put up.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2008, baby.
Yeah. So
Now,
we've been training since then.
now you said you set your goals high. Is that the peak, or do you have more goals still?
No. There's always more goals ahead of me, and
You want to share any of those, or are those just for you?
no, they're just for me. I write
Just
them
for you?
down, and
All right,
I
all
just
right.
check it off as I go through them. So.
Okay,
I
all
like that
right.
mentality. A humble man that has a lot of aspirations.
I'd imagine a conference title is one of those.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that next year. We came up a little short this year, falling to Liberty, but they're in the the Fiesta Bowl versus Oregon.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
they got the
number one
at-large
Group
bid.
of 5 team in the
Yeah,
country.
so-
So it's. I mean, it's not a bad loss. Can you talk about that game a little bit? Like, how was it? I know it was kind of back and forth. You guys battled back.
So we were down. I think they started. No, we started
No,
off.
you were up
7-0.
first because Diego got the
And
rushing
then
touchdown.
all the way up until the third quarter, it was a tie game. Like they'd score, we score, they score, we score, and then our quarterback actually got hurt. It was at halftime they like took him out. He took himself out, and then we were tied with them up until the fourth quarter. And then the fourth quarter they kind of just pulled away. And I mean, it was a good game. It was a cool atmosphere to be in. Liberty's awesome to play at because it's just like one of the nicest facilities I've ever been at. Like big school, a lot of fans. Like they got a lot of money, so it was a good experience.
Yeah, I imagine that's a team you guys are circling on the schedule next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anyone else you're circling on the calendar for next year, Charlie?
I think Texas A&M is going to be another big one. We had a big SEC game last year.
Wow.
That we got to beat Auburn at, and that was pretty cool.
And that's at Texas A&M?
Yeah. It's
Wow,
at
that'll
Texas
be
A&M.
fun. There
Johnny
you go.
Manziel's house.
Wow.
Going to Johnny's
That
house.
stadium's going to be rocking.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned that upset at Auburn. What was the atmosphere like?
So coming into it, we kind of all walked out. And we were all just like looking up at the stadium. We were like, oh my God, like this is insane. Just because it's literally 2 skyscrapers on the side and then a jumbotron bigger than a freaking house. So you're like looking at everything and you're just like, all right, it's a football field. Like you practice on one every day. It might as well just be the same thing. And
Good mentality.
so the first time we went out on the field, it was after a touchdown had been scored for us, and all the Auburn fans thought that it was out of bounds. So they were all booing, and you couldn't even hear yourself think. Like it was the loudest experience I've ever been in. And all I'm looking back is like I'm looking back at George like waiting for him to tap his finger because it's like on the short snap he goes like that, and all I hear is the announcers like name like Ethan Albertson, who's our kicker, who had a really good year. It's like Ethan Albertson with the kick, and it sounds like Road to Glory on college football.
Oh, wow.
Like that's all I was thinking about. I was like, holy crap, this is
That's
sick.
a throwback.
Yeah, and so I'm looking through my legs and I snapped it back, and then we had a couple more plays throughout the game, and they were pretty big, and I don't know, it was just an experience that will never match anything that I.
What was
I
the
think in my
final?
life.
31-10?
31-10. We beat them by 21.
Wow.
They had I think it was 88,000 people there, and we cleared it out.
You broke
That's
88,000
awesome.
hearts that day, Charlie.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a lot
Now-
of memes, kids crying and everything.
Did you get any tackles in the game?
No.
All right, so only one Eberlie recorded a stat. One timeout called.
Yeah, one time.
You want to elaborate on that a little bit since he said you could speak for him?
So we had a fake field goal drawn up. This was after our fake punt, actually, that our personal protector got. It was like a 25-yard gain on fourth and 5 coming right out of the third quarter. And we go down to the goal line, and I'm like, oh, shit, we're going to kick a field goal. It's like we're going to get 3 points on the board. And our coach is like, you're running the fake. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, so the fake was we motion out. The whole line goes to the left about like 8-9 yards out to the left. And then there's a tight end and another tight end like standing right behind me. And I snap it to George, and I go out to the right for a pass, and I was supposed to catch it and hopefully run into the end zone and shed a couple SEC linebackers trying to tackle it. So we motion into it, and last time out of the game, George calls a timeout, and I don't think I've ever seen so many coaches get so angry in my entire life.
Did George ever talk to you about why he called the timeout? What was the reasoning?
Because our O-line went to the left. It was me in the middle, and then 2 more guys on the right, and then 6 SEC linebackers to the right. So
numbers didn't match up.
The odds were very stacked against us. So yeah, it was probably a better option that I didn't get my head taken off. So I was kind of pissed I couldn't attempt to score a touchdown at an SEC school.
Gotta love it.
I'd rather not get hurt. So I guess it was the best decision.
Well, I mean, speaking of getting hurt, I mean, you're probably one of the most protected positions in the game. I'm not saying it, but I've heard people saying, like, it's kind of soft that you guys don't have anyone line up on you on the snap. Anything to say to those people that are saying it? Not me saying it.
I mean, you can line up a couple guys against me. I got my head rocked a couple of times. I know the first game against UMass, I had 2 linebackers come full speed down at my head. That kind of hurt. But
you got a penalty called at least?
No, I didn't get it. Didn't get anything.
Long snappers don't really draw a flag.
We're
not protected like the quarterback.
Well, our biggest job is to go unnoticed while we're playing. So I did a pretty good job at that this year. So hopefully I can keep that up going into my 6th year of college football.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, 100% snap success rate, right?
That's what. Yeah.
No bad snaps. That's
no
why
bad snaps.
it's all conference.
Knock on
all
wood.
Conference, yes.
The numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Now, a big thing I noticed this year was it seemed like you guys had a pretty close-knit group. There were a couple punters there, a couple kickers there. What can you say about the special teams room specifically there?
So specifically, it was actually one of the weirdest rooms I've ever been in. Not like personality-wise, but just like the age gap. So we had me, who's 23, George, who's 23, our punter, Zach, who he just transferred, but he was 23, and then our kicker, who's actually a day older than me and George, who is also 23. Wow. So the four starters on the in our specialist group were all 23 years old, and then the rest were either 18-year-old true freshmen, and then one kid who's a senior who's like 21 years old. So it was kind of like a weird age gap to where I was 4 years older than most of them, and then the same age as the rest. So it was kind of weird trying to balance that. Yeah, there wasn't really any middle ground.
A veteran group, though.
Veteran
group on the field, which is why, I mean, special teams matters. It's a third aspect of the game. People want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Veteran group.
That
always helps.
Speaking of veterans, do you have any long snappers you look up to in the NFL? Maybe model your game after? Or is it not? Is it something that you don't really look up at?
The one that I kind of look up to is Luke Rhodes. He's the snapper for the Colts. He's been a all-pro selection. I don't know how many years, but he's pretty good. And he used to play linebacker actually in college. So, I mean, like it's not like I'm playing linebacker in college. I'm not trying to model my game after him. But he's a good guy. He's really relevant on, like, Instagram and everything. So
you still got to go make tackles, too. At the end of the day, it's not like that went out the window.
Yeah. And I had a couple tackles this year. I had one at FIU, and then I had another one against the University of New Mexico, but it was a flag. So I got called back, and then I whiffed on the next play.
Now, I remember early in the season, you did down a ball inside the 5. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many you were able to down inside the 5 this year?
Personally, I don't know how many that I had, but I know the stat line for Zach that he had down within the 5, or within the 20-yard line, which is like the stat that they like to go off of. I think it was like 19 or 20 punts inside the 20.
That's very good.
And he had 1 touchback the entire year, which is unheard of.
You know, you should take notes. Jamie Gillen, the punter for the Giants. The Scottish Hammer will just boot that shit in the end zone. Yeah. It's like, we need to direct those punts. Pin him inside the 10 if you can.
Yeah, him and his ponytail.
Sounds like Zach could maybe get some NFL looks, honestly.
Yeah, he might. He's in the transfer portal right now. He actually just got a an offer to Mississippi State today. So
Wow.
we'll see how that goes.
Wow.
Well, he's got to take his long snapper with him, right?
No, we're gonna call it at 3 schools. We're not going to the
Schools.
4th.
All right, all right.
We're not gonna go to the 4th.
Our man is happy
Yeah.
in his cowboy hat.
The Aggies, baby.
The Aggies.
Well, you guys got any questions? Joe, Zach, you got anything to ask him?
How you liking living in New Mexico compared to New Jersey?
It's a lot different. It's a lot drier, and honestly, like the last time we saw rain, like it'll drizzle at night, but like actual rain was probably early October.
Wow.
So coming back here and it raining like every couple of days is like kind of crazy. But it's just like the landscape and all the outdoorsy stuff that you can do out there is like a lot greater than you can do here. Just because like there's so much open land and it's not really inhabited, I guess. And there's just so many like few people there that it just makes it a lot more fun to like go out and like go up into the mountains and adventure, I guess.
Now, that definitely is beneficial when you're trying to work on your golf game. And Charlie, I heard you are working on your golf game down there. Can you talk about the facilities at New Mexico State and the deal that students get?
Yeah, so we actually have a deal down there. It's $35 a month for students at the university course, which is really nice. It's kind of like, if you guys know, like Highbridge Hills.
Yeah.
It's
Sure, most of
It's
our
like a link. It's like a link style.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's usually dry and there's always like little road runners running around and like coyotes and stuff. So it's kind of like a little like Looney Tunes, you could say.
Oh, there we go.
I prefer that than the deer we get around here.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
a black bear.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, it's a really good deal, and you pay $8 for the cart, so you pay $35 a month, and then $8 for the cart. I think it's like after 4 p.m. and the sun's up to like 8:39 there.
So are you gonna be a scratch golfer by the time you graduate?
One could say that. We'll see what they say when it comes down.
So
to
he's
it.
got bigger goals on his mind next year.
Hey, I'm just curious.
Once he retires from New Mexico State, then he can worry about it.
Yep. Once we hang him
Now,
up.
speaking of deals, do you currently have any NIL deals?
No, I do not.
Well, we would officially like to offer you to become an around the feld athlete.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
The first one ever.
It pays absolutely
Appreciate
nothing,
it.
but you get to rock the merch and you can put it in your bio if you want.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Let's
It's
go. Wow, thank you,
it's a
Charlie.
pleasure to be the first ever Around the Feld podcast NIL athlete.
We're looking forward to
Yeah.
having you on again, my friends.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you in the pros.
Yes, sir.
What's up, guys? It's Colin here. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out all our videos. Like and comment. We really appreciate hearing from you guys. Give us feedback, punishment ideas, any ideas you have in the NFL, thoughts. We appreciate it all. Now let's get back to the episode.
All right, guys, welcome back in after that awesome interview we just had with long snapper Charlie Eberlie. We're going to get right into the games this week of Week 17.
Thursday night football. Honestly, you guys will be listening to this on Friday. Not going to spend a lot of time in this game, but Reagan's Jets are at the Browns. Browns 7.5-point favorites. The over-under very low, 35 points. Reagan, I'd imagine you're going to pick the Jets to lose and not cover because you want to root for the blowout, but what are you thinking?
As you're listening to this, the Jets have just won 35-0, pushing the over-under total and getting us to another win now. I have the Browns covering and winning here. I don't know, man. I just got to back my Browns take here where I think this team can make it to the Super Bowl. This is going to be a good test for Joe Flacco. Can he get it done against one of the league's best defenses? And I think he can. And I also just don't trust Trevor Siemian at all. Because, yeah, while he may have looked okay, and that might be an overstatement, against the worst-ranked defense, the Browns, they have a great defense. So I don't have a lot of confidence, unfortunately. We're going to need another big Breece Hall game, but it's going to be hard for that to happen against a good Browns defense.
Yeah, man, I went back and forth on this one. I have Cleveland winning, but the 7 and with the hook is really, really bothering me. I know Cleveland plays a lot better at home, and Joe Flacco is hot, but at the same time, although he's throwing for a lot of passing yards and he sparked his offense, he is turning it over a lot, and this secondary can force turnovers.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of makes me nervous here. I think Jerome Ford's going to have to do better on the ground for the Browns to really cover this number. Ultimately, I ended up with the Jets covering, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Like, I don't think the Jets can even score 10, to be honest with you. I think it's a defensive showdown. I'm going to go with like a 13-6 type of game.
Yeah, I do like the under. I will say that.
But, I mean, as much as I wanted to take the Browns because they're scorching hot and Amari Cooper just went for 265, I think a lot of people are going to be on his line. I think DJ Reed
under
and
for
Sauce
that.
do a good job on Cooper. It's going to have to be with the running game. But, yeah, like you said, I don't really have any faith in the Jets' offense to score unless they're throwing the ball to Breece Hall 15 times a game.
Elijah Moore revenge game?
Ooh, revenge game. I love the revenge games.
Looking for revenge.
I could see Elijah Moore actually scoring in this one. And then Connor Hughes going on Twitter like, see, this is why you don't give up on Elijah Moore. We don't have any receivers.
Fair enough, but he did give up on us, Elijah Moore. He wanted out, so.
Fair.
All right, let's get into the games that people are going to be wondering about now.
All right, 1 o'clock state starts off with a bang here, Reagan. The Lions are at Dallas.
Well, no, this is actually Saturday night game.
Oh, my bad. Hey,
You're good.
I was wondering. I was like, why is this game at 1?
Yeah,
No, we got more Saturday football, boys. Love to see it. The Dallas Cowboys are 6-point favorites, and these are 2 double-digit win teams. Big spread, and that's because Dallas is 7-0 at home. The over/under is 53. Reagan, does Dallas roll here? Do the Lions?
Oh, Dallas stomps here. They're gonna embarrass these frauds. I'm telling you, it's gonna be 35-17, and that's what the Lions putting up that 17 basically in some garbage time. I think it's not classic, but this is the Jared Goff we've seen a lot as of recent, where he's high turnovers and this Lions offense can't get going because they get down too big to run the ball. So I'm tempering expectations on Montgomery. I think Gibbs could have a good game as a receiver, definitely like his receiving line, but I think Dak has a very good game here.
I do think Dallas covers as well, Reagan. They're just too tough to beat at home, and they're coming off 2 losses, so I expect them to come out pissed. And Dallas is one of the league's best at forcing turnovers. Lions lose when Goff turns it over multiple times. I don't love Goff in this matchup. I do think Gibbs does have a good game, goes for over 100 total yards. We just saw James Cook light this defense up. I think Gibbs can do similar role here. The only problem is Monty's sneaking some of those carries. But Gibbs just looked a lot better, so hopefully they start giving him more touches. But at the end of the day, Dallas averages roughly 40 points per game at home. I don't think Detroit's going to be able to keep up. I think it's a high-scoring game. I do like the over. But at the end of the day, CeeDee Lamb...
And the over is pretty high, too.
Yeah, it's 53. But at the end of the day, CeeDee Lamb and Dak stay hot, and they destroy this Lions secondary. All right. San Francisco, 13-point favorites at the Washington Commanders. The over-under is 49.5. Reagan, I know that's a lot of points, but you can't be backing the Commanders in this one, can you?
I don't know, man. I went back and forth on this one a lot because it's so many points, but I ended up landing on Washington because we have seen Brissett play better than Howell as of recent. I know a lot of it has been in garbage time, but I feel like he's a veteran enough and he'll do enough to just keep checking it down and not killing them. So I think this game is close on the scoreboard, but it's not actually close. So I think they can get like a backdoor cover here and get it done. But I definitely think the 49ers win this game.
Yeah, we did see Arizona put a lot of points up against this Niners defense, so always laying nearly 2 touchdowns is nerve-wracking. I do think the Niners cover in this one, though, just because, I mean, the Jets scored 30 on this Commanders defense last week. It seems like the guys in the locker room have kind of almost given up. I mean, we actually think the Commanders will be able to hold the Niners to less than 30 points? There's no damn way.
No. Nope.
So I think the Niners hang 38 in this one. Do I think the Commanders can score 25? Maybe, but with the corpse of Jacoby Brissett, I don't think so. I think it's going to be like a 38-20 game.
Yeah, so I definitely think it'll be ugly. It just really comes down to, can Jacoby Brissett get that last touchdown in garbage time?
I think McCaffrey scores twice in this one as well.
Yeah, safe bet. He likes to score, so.
Yeah, and that's probably even odds. maybe even minus, like, to be honest with you. But the secondary has been really bad too. So I do think Purdy has a good bounce back game. Ayuk and Debo have good games as well. Niners roll in this one. All right, another big spread. Arizona's at Philly. Philly's 11-point favorites at home. The over-under 48.5. Philly ended their losing streak last week, but the Giants did cover a big number. Can Arizona do the same?
Yeah, I think Philly wins and covers here. I think they need it really bad because while they won last week, it was not convincing at all. So I think this is a game where they silence the media and they get it done and show why they're one of the most dominant teams in the league right now. I think they have to, honestly. And also, Arizona's very beatable on the ground, and Philadelphia's got to get back to their way. So I think a big DeAndre Swift game here.
You could beat Arizona whoever the hell you want. They
Fair
can't
enough.
cover anybody. They can't stop the run. I think they have the worst. Commanders. Commanders in Arizona, 2 worst defenses in football. But I do think Arizona covers the 11.
Okay.
I think that's a big number to give up, and I do think it's going to be a backdoor. But Arizona had success against San Francisco, and this Philly defense is not San Francisco right now.
But I will say it's a division game, so it's a little bit different.
That's a good. Yeah, I mean that's fine, but I don't know. The Eagles have been struggling recently. Anytime they're laying more than 10 points, I just don't trust their defense to be able to contain teams enough. Now I do think they score a lot. I do think Jalen Hurts has a touch push. Swift probably scores either A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith probably scores.
Or Swift gets tackled at the one three times.
I think
it seems like he likes to do that.
Yeah, he does. I've never seen a
Like,
player
that's
get tackled the one more.
That's the best part about the tush pushes. It's
He
like
gets tackled at the one all the time.
he's getting the tush pushes, but it's like he wouldn't even have like half of them if DeAndre Swift just got in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually ridiculous.
I just don't trust Philly enough to give up 11. But all right, huge game to determine the number 1 seed in the AFC. Miami at Baltimore. Baltimore is a 3-point favorite. The over/under is 47. Reagan, are you back in these Dolphins?
Yeah, this actually is my upset pick of the week.
Whoa!
I think everybody's going to be hammering the Ravens in this game because of the fact that they just embarrassed the 49ers. So this seems like a classic trap game. Coming off the big win, Ravens are riding high, like best team in the league. Like everyone's like, oh, well, if they just beat the 49ers, like who can't this team beat? Everyone's gonna be like the Dolphins, like they just finally beat the Cowboys, but they really don't have a signature win. So I feel like this is the one signature win the Dolphins get this season, and then they go and lose to the Bills next week. But I think this just screams trap game.
It does scream trap game, Reagan, and that's what really was bothering me. I did end up taking Baltimore just because I have Lamar MVP ticket. And I want
so
that
it's
to
more
cash.
of an emotional pick.
It is an emotional pick because Miami, over the second half of the season, has been a top 5 run defense in the league.
Wow.
So if they can contain Lamar on the ground, I don't expect Gus Edwards to have a big day on the ground. He might punch one in. That's what the bus does, but I think they could limit the run game, and it's going to have to be on Lamar through the air. And I mean, honestly, if they can limit Lamar's scrambling, that's their key to victory. Also, the Ravens' defense has been really good. Their pass rushers are good. Their secondary is elite, but they do play a lot of man coverage. So Tyreek Hill is going to have to be the X factor here. If he can break a couple deep in man coverage, that's going to be Miami's path to victory. At the end of the day, I'm going to take Baltimore at home. They've just been too good. And I know you said trap game, and I feel it too. I feel it too, and Miami's first signature win was last week against Dallas, but they're also in a letdown spot, kind of.
Yeah.
So
in a sense, yes.
It's a tough game. I went back and forth in this one, man. I leaned Miami, and then I ended up sticking with my guns in Baltimore, but it's definitely going to be a fun one.
I do think, too, a lot of times with the trap games, it's usually like big win at home against a great team, and then a loss on the road to follow it up. So I do think the Ravens being at home does help them.
Yes, because the Ravens won in San Francisco. Now they're back home. Where
back
Miami,
home. A lot of times it's like the big win at home.
was at home, and now they're on the road.
Yeah.
Reverse trap.
Yeah, I do think that does help them a lot being at home. But
Next, the Falcons are at the Bears. The Bears are 3-point favorites. The over/under is 38. I every time the Falcons play, I have no idea what team's going to show up.
Very inconsistent team.
Last week, a 29-10 win, and then they could absolutely put up a dud and score 6 points and lose. Reagan, do you trust these Falcons? Or are you taking the Bears?
I'm taking the Bears to cover and win here. I think they get it done. I think this game's low scoring, but I think the Bears defense is playing on another level right now, and I think Fields actually has a pretty good game against this Falcons defense. So
yeah, Chicago has won 3 of his last 4.
Yeah, Chicago's peaking at the right time, man. So I say they win 24-10.
Okay. I'm going to take Falcons, straight up.
Is that because if they lose, you're drinking a smoothie, or
no? I mean,
is there another reason?
I also have Bears under 7.5.
Oh wow! Yeah, who would have thought that'd still be alive?
I know. Well, the Bears have been hot. They're 4 of the last 6, 3 of the last 4.
If the Bears get over, we might have a clip because I remember coming into the season that was one of Drock's questions, and you were like,
"Yeah, we have a handshake.
I'm taking the under because I'm not rocking with Baldy or something that."
We have a handshake bet on that as well. that we'll be sure to request with Dave for this weekend if the Bears lose.
What is it?
Honestly, it's under 7.5. I have the under. He has the over.
Gotcha.
We handshake bet on that. But I liked what the offense did with Heineke last week. I'm hoping Heineke can keep it going. Although this Bears defense has been balling out, I'm not confident in this one. I'm just going to say it. I am not confident. But at the end of the day, it's the Bears.
Who is confident? Me.
It's the Bears.
The Bears are going to get it done here.
Okay. Well, we could look at the standings and see how that confidence has done you so far this year.
What do you think
Not
about
good for
Taylor
either.
Heineke's passing yards, 202?
I would stay away. Personally, that Bears secondary's been playing really well. But also, DJ Moore has an ankle. That's something to monitor.
I kind of like the over.
I mean, we saw DJ Moore hurt his ankle beginning of last game. Then he was kind of a decoy. So if DJ Moore is limited, I think that really lowers the ceiling of this Bears offense. It's going to have to be on Justin Fields and his scrambling ability, I think, if the Bears are going to win.
I like the over because I think the Bears are going to get up early, so I think he's going to be passing a lot, and 202 is a very low line.
It is low.
It's extremely low. And Heineke's...
He's a gunslinger.
He is a gunslinger, so, I mean, he could get one big play, and it's like, oh, shit, he's already a fourth of the way there, so...
Next, Carolina at Jacksonville. Jags are 6.5-point favorites. You over under 38. Reagan, do these frauds cover?
They don't cover, and I've gone back and forth on who I think is going to win, but I think I might have the Panthers beating them.
You have the Panthers winning.
I might. I don't know.
Why is this not your upset pick if it's 6.5?
Because I'm not confident in it. I'm not confident in it because, like, I'm very confident in the Dolphins winning. I'm not confident in the Panthers winning, but I really don't like the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, like what I'm seeing from it. And maybe, just maybe, yeah, it could have been a bad Packers defense, or maybe Bryce Young's starting to figure some stuff out.
I think it's mostly the bad Packers defense. Maybe he's starting to figure it out.
So I like that he did that. So I feel like that's something to build off of. Maybe they found some plays that he feels more comfortable with, that are working, something to build off of. So I'm gonna go with the Panthers to win it.
Well, I went back and forth too because we don't even know if Trevor Lawrence is playing.
Yeah.
You know, with the shoulder. It's in a right shoulder as well. It's his throwing shoulder. That makes me really nervous. C.J. Beathard, I mean, yuck. And Jags have lost 4 in a row. I do think ultimately the Jags win, but I do think the Panthers cover. 6.5 is just a lot for me to give up right now. It almost seems like that line is assuming that Lawrence is going to play. So if Beathard ruled in, I'd imagine that might drop to like 4.5 type of range. I do think Carolina covers. Although I like what I saw from Bryce Young, this defense isn't playing as bad as Green Bay's, but still, they've been struggling. They've lost 4 in a row, in part because of the defense as well. And you beat Jacksonville through the air, not on the ground. So it's going to have to be on Bryce Young. I don't know if Chuba Hubbard can go for over 100 on this defense, even if he's getting 25 carries. I do think they get the cover, though. But I just can't trust them to beat Jacksonville. I mean, they've won, 2 games all year? It's just tough to pick them out, right?
Fair enough.
All right, last one before we hit a break here, Reagan. New England's at Buffalo. Buffalo, a 13-point favorite. My goodness. The over-under, 40.5. Do they cover the 13?
I think they do. New England's been playing very good football as of late. They seem like they're much improved from early on in the season. They've already beaten Buffalo once this year. And honestly, the fact that Buffalo made that game a game in L.A. last week with the Chargers and Easton I keep wanting to say Easton Stick.
Wait, so you're saying New England's going to cover?
They're going to cover, yeah. Buffalo will win.
I was asking if Buffalo was going to cover. So you're saying New England's
Yes,
going to cover?
New England's going to cover, yes. Gives me the faith in them. It's a lot of points. It's a division game. And Bill Belichick is still the coach. So, yeah, I'll take him to cover. But I do think the Bills win here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm taking Buffalo to win. I'm taking New England to cover the 13. Just a fat spread. I mean, honestly, I thought it was going to be like around 8 or 9. So this was shocking to me. Division game with Bill Belichick. It's just tough to lay that many points. It's so many points. And like you said, with the Chargers, that defense is terrible. And the Bills only scored 24.
They almost lost the game.
It almost seems like they came into the game like just expecting to win. After having wins over a couple big teams, some really good teams, and you play a bad Chargers team that's just limping to the finish line at this point. I mean, this New England team is going to show fight. They're going to show heart. It's a Bill Belichick-led team. I think they cover, but I think Buffalo has control of this game throughout.
What do you think about Josh Allen's rushing yards? It's 27.5.
I like the under on it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think
this game's going to be ugly, and I feel like Belichick's going to try to do everything with QB spies to not let him do it, to be honest.
I think Belichick historically has struggled with running quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just like the under, and that might be because we've been burned by Josh Allen's overs before.
Yeah,
that I'm saying it, but I lean under.
I'm gonna go over. I think he ends up in the 30s, because I do think that Belichick's gonna try to take away Diggs, and I mean, although Diggs hasn't been a big factor recently, like if Gabe Davis doesn't show up, then a lot of the
which
offense
odds are he won't.
James Cook and Josh Allen with his legs.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, guys.
Hey everyone, we got 4 different color hoodie options out on the website. Please make sure to go check them out and get yours now.
All right, guys, welcome back in. We're going to finish off the Week 17 preview. What do we got first, Mr. Tom?
The Raiders are at the Colts. Colts 3.5-point favorites at home. The over-under, 43.5. Reagan, you back in the stash?
No, actually, I got the Raiders winning and covering here. I really like what I saw from them last week. I think the Colts are starting to kind of, I don't know, I feel like the magic they had is starting to fade, and the Raiders are the hot team right now, so I'm going to rock with them. And I really don't want to doubt them because their defense is legit. And I feel like something's got to give here. Is it going to be the Colts' bad defense, or basically it comes down to who wins this? Do the Colts defense step up, or does the Raiders defense step up? And to me, I think the Raiders defense is playing at a better level right now, so I think they're going to limit that, and I do think O'Connell will be able to actually do something this week and won't have to rely on his defense completely. So I think the Raiders win like 24-10 here.
As a Devontae Adams fantasy holder, I really hope Aiden O'Connell can complete a forward pass past the first quarter this week. Now, part of me is taking the Raiders in this one.
Okay.
With my heart, because I'm rooting for Antonio Pierce to get the head coaching gig. And they remind me a little bit of the early season Steelers, where the offense is so anemic, but they just find ways to win, and they're playing hard. They dominated the Chiefs up front last week, and that's a good offensive line. Interior-wise, I know their left tackle was out, and Juwan Taylor's had his problems, but the interior is elite, and they dominated. Mahomes is running for his life all day. So I think they can do the same thing against this Colts front. And I also I definitely trust this Raiders defense more so than the Colts defense. I really just hope that Aiden O'Connell finds Devontae Adams, because that's their path to victory here. But Antonio Pierce has these boys playing inspired football. I hope he gets the gig. I'm taking the Raiders in this one.
With Josh Jacobs being questionable and Zamir White's productivity, if both play, what does Zamir White's role look like in that offense now?
If they both play, I honestly don't know if you could play Zamir White.
I don't think White gets more than 5 carries.
Because of the fact that it's just too risky. Like, I would just pivot, because it's just, if you're in the fantasy championship, you can't be taking those kind of risks. But if Jacobs doesn't play, I play Zamir White, and now, I think he's going to have a big game.
Now, if you're in a dynasty league, if Jacobs is playing, I still think you should pick up White right now, looking into next season, because Jacobs is on the tag.
If you can. I feel like White's probably not on the waiver wire.
He got picked up today in my dynasty league off the waiver wire.
That's shocking.
So I'm just saying, if you're in a league, look for White, because he is young, he's under contract, not a lot of money. Jacobs is on the tag, so for next year, the way White has looked the past 2 weeks, maybe they don't bring Jacobs back. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I would keep an eye out on White in dynasty formats. But yeah, if Jacobs is back, Antonio Pierce knows that Adams and Jacobs are his 2 horses, and he has to ride them to the finish line. All right, the Rams, 4.5-point favorites at the New York Football Giants. The over-under is 45. Reagan, are you back in my G-Men?
No, I'm not. I'm back in the Rams here. 4.5, honestly, that's kind of a low line to me. The Rams' offense is rolling right now, and while Tyrod is going to be starting for the Giants, I still don't have enough faith in this offense right now to get it done. I just think this Rams offense is too high-powered, and I don't think the Giants will be able to keep up with them to cover the 4.5. Now, if it was like a touchdown, I probably would have gone with the Giants, but I just think 4.5 is too low of a line, so I could see it being 28-20 here.
I was thinking 31-21. I'm taking the Rams as well. I just think, the Giants' defense last week led up 33 to Philly, even though they did force turnovers. They did have a pick 6. The way Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, and Matt Stafford have been playing, I can't imagine the Giants are going to hold them to less than 20 or 24. Even with Tyrod at the helm, I don't know. That offensive line is just still so bad. It was all 5 of their starters last week were ranked bottom 10 in the league at their respective positions. So I think Aaron Donald's going to have a field day. Can Tyrod keep him in it? I don't know. He pushes the ball downfield a lot, so I'm hoping that Jalen Hyatt gets involved after a couple weeks of doing nothing. It's so weird to me, but the passing attack has just been brutal. You can't rely on Barkley to keep you in a game if your defense is going to let up over 20, 30 points. I do think the Rams cover, but it does break my heart saying it. But like you said, Reagan, if it was a higher number, I'd be very tempted to take the Giants. Just 4.5. I do think the Rams win between 7 and 10 points.
Also, come on. You want your team to lose at this point.
I was rooting for my boys through thick and thin, but at this point, Week 17, mathematically eliminated and the chance for the number 3 overall pick. I'm not rooting for them to lose, but I'm not rooting for them to win.
I would root for them to lose. Why would you not?
I don't know. My boys just would feel disappointed in me.
Okay.
I want to back my boys every opportunity I get. So I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to the game or
You
not.
only get 17 times a year to root for your boys,
Yeah.
I would not go to the game. Maybe you should give them away to some Milwaukee around the felt listeners.
Pick up or Puka this week.
Puka. Puka. I hope Puka.
I hope Cup, because I need Cup in the finals.
I need Puka in the finals.
Honestly, they both could have really good games. Also, Deonte Banks left last week's game with an injury. I don't know the status on him if he's going to be playing, but Adoree Jackson has not had a good season. Even though
and he can shadow Cup or something.
But if you have Adoree out there with Trey Hawkins and then Flott in the slot, I think Flott in the slot.
Wow, did you just come up with that? That's amazing.
It just happens. These things just come out of my mouth sometimes. I don't know.
It's not Flott.
Hey, oh my gosh.
I do think both receivers.
Hey, what you gonna do about
There's a
that?
pathway for both of them to go for over 100 yards.
All right.
All right, next game to determine the NFC South. Basically, New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 2.5-point favorites at home. The over under 42.5. Reagan, are you off the Saints bandwagon?
I'm off of them, which means they're gonna win. So if you guys are listening to this, you probably should take the Saints. Like, I know it's gonna happen. I know whichever way I go, it's gonna be the opposite. So I'm taking the Bucks here just because I'm pissed at the Saints. But I know if I said the Saints, the Bucks would do it. I just know no matter what, I'm taking the wrong pick here. I know this game's gonna be ugly, but I'll go with the team that's looked better and been pretty good this year. The Bucks.
Yo, you're making me nervous. Of course, I'm riding my boy Baker. I hate these Saints. I think they're terrible.
Oh, you hate them?
Derek Carr is
Hate's a
terrible.
strong word.
I think Kamara's
Terrible.
going to
What?
get stuffed on the ground. He might have 8 catches, but he's going to get stuffed on the ground. The way Baker's playing, it seems like he really found his home. He's playing inspired football. Mike Evans has been a beast. I just like what Tampa Bay has on offense a lot more than what New Orleans does, and I think their defenses are similar, so I'm going to go with the team with the better offense and playing at home. And Baker's playing for a milli.
While you just said all that stuff, I'm changing my pick to the Saints because I just realized all this stuff says the Bucs should win the game. They're the better team. They've looked better. The Saints suck. The line is 2 points, which means the Saints are probably going to get it done. It just screams trap game because think about it. The Bucs have been
Back on his boys.
The Bucs have been.
So he's back on the bandwagon.
I'm back
He
on
was
the-
only off it for a minute.
I'm back on it because everything says the Bucs should win this game handedly. The way they've been playing this year, they look better. But the fact that line is 2, and really the Saints haven't looked good this year, and the fact that you would think Kamara's going to get stuffed by the run and they should be having to pass the ball. And it's like Derek Carr hasn't looked amazing this year. He's shown flashes, but not the Derek Carr we saw with the Raiders. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Saints here. Cover and win.
Wow, dude, that's terrible.
You convinced me.
You want to make this one the big bet of the week?
No. I'm not, like I said.
Not his Saints, but he's not confident.
Yeah, come on. The fact that I flip-flopped. You know what? Now that you mentioned that. All right, I'm going back to the Bucs. No, I'm going to stay with the Saints. Hesitantly.
All right, next, another divisional matchup. The Titans at the Houston Texans. Texans 5-point favorites. The over under 43.5. Looks like Stroud's going to be back for this one. Reagan, are you backing Stroud and the Texans?
Yeah, I am covering and winning here. They have to get it done, to be honest, at this point. Like, it's playoffs or bust. I feel like the Titans, they just really don't have anything to play for at this point, while the Texans have everything to play for. This offense is going to be humming, getting their leader back, so I think this is a big game, not only for the playoffs, but Stroud's Rookie of the Year case. So I expect a pretty solid victory here.
I have Houston winning, but I have Tennessee covering.
Oh,
Houston
this could have been our big bet.
Houston won in but I didn't want to pick one where I have Houston winning, but Tennessee covering.
Okay.
Houston won in overtime with Keenum and DeHelm back in Week 15. That was at Tennessee. It was a 19-16 game. Tennessee has played in 4 straight games decided by 3 points or less, and in that time frame, Houston is 2-3 over its last 5. Granted, 2 of those without C.J. Stroud, but it seems like they're cooling off a bit. I think a divisional matchup here. Houston does get it done by a field goal, but Derrick Henry's played really well the past few weeks. Will Levis should be back. He did practice today. I'm hoping Levis has a big game because he's starting for me in the finals. I'm going to take Tennessee to cover, but I don't think they have enough talent to win. I don't know. I mean, honestly, this Houston offense without Tank Dell and then Nico Collins getting knocked out and then C.J. Stroud, it's just been anemic. So it just makes me nervous against a Tennessee team, divisional matchup. I think it's going to be low scoring. I would take the under 43.5 here. All right.
Fair enough.
4 p.m. slate. Pittsburgh at Seattle. Seattle's 3.5-point favorites. The over-under 41.5. You backing Geno and the boys?
No, I'm actually taking the Steelers here. I really like what I saw from them last week. I feel like they're kind of back on it. And I like this team when they're underdogs. They seem to always get it done when they're the underdogs, and then when they get the respect, they come out and play terrible. So if the Steelers are an underdog, I'm going to back them. If they're the favorite, I'm going to fade them.
I'm also taking Pittsburgh to win outright. Seattle's off.
You bought in on Rudolph?
I mean, the way he looked last week, man, how can you not be? Although I would say this Seattle secondary is a tougher test than Cincinnati, but
yeah,
the Seattle offensive line ranks 24th in pass block win rate. So I do think T.J. Watt and the boys have a field day against Geno. Geno struggles when he's under pressure. And also, Seattle's had 8 games decided by 1 score or less. They like playing close games. In back-to-back weeks, they've had game-winning drives. I think that's a tough formula to sustain. Mike Tomlin does not have losing seasons. I love the Steelers in this one. I think they get it done on the road.
All right.
Mason Rudolph's passing line is 200 on the dot.
Over. I like the over. Find George Pickens. Again, please. Guy's a beast. I don't have him in any fantasy leagues. I just think he's a fun player to watch, and he's good. And they got to get him the ball. All right, next, Cincinnati at Kansas City. Kansas City a 7-point favorite. The over-under is 44. And this is the big bet of the week. Reagan, what are we doing this week?
So it's called the Day in the Life Challenge.
No, it's like let me get the actual name. It's like just like a day in the life of doing like a completely normal task or something.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really cringy, I guess.
Jared suggested this earlier in the show, but basically you have to just go through your routine day, but you have to film everything, and it's just like super cringy because you have to do all the like mannerisms and all the weird stuff you do throughout your day that maybe the camera's not on during it, but it's more so just going to be funny. And then like obviously it's going to be funny for you guys to watch, getting like people's reactions where maybe Colin's at work typing away, pitter-patting away, doing what he does in the office, and he's just got to have the camera rolling. Like
these videos are corny as hell. Because this, like, we just watched one. This dude literally records himself walking in the elevator and it closing. So what'd he do? Go down and then go back up to get his phone? Like, it's the stupidest video thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I think it's cringy as hell. I think it's corny as hell. Which makes it a good punishment for us. Right, Reagan?
Yeah, I think it'll be funny for you guys to watch. It'll just be more of a hassle for us. And then we're going to have a lot of people just giving us weird comments and weird looks. Like the guy went into the grocery store and there's just people walking by seeing him filming himself picking out oranges.
Yes, cringe as hell. And then he has to set it up before he checks out, and they're like bagging his shit, and he's like just sitting there.
Pulling into his parking spot with the camera rolling, like you had to like reverse and get out of
dude, I don't know. It's a pain in the ass. Honestly, that might be the worst part of the time you got to put into it.
Yeah,
but it's corny as hell. I'm taking the Chiefs -7. Reagan's taking the Bengals +7. Do the Bengals win outright or no?
No. I just think they're going to be coming into this game like it is a must-win for them. So I think they're going to play and keep it close enough that they can, compete. But I don't think they get it done.
I think this is going to spark the Chiefs for their playoff run. I think they're pissed off. I think Mahomes and Kelsey, the leaders in the clubhouse, are going to get their boys riled up. We just saw Cincinnati let up over 30 points to Mason Rudolph in that Steelers offense. Although the Chiefs' offense has scored less than 20 points several times this year, I can't imagine they're going to score less than 20 against the Cincinnati defense right now. I'm hoping Mahomes and the boys get rolling. Please protect them. Give them time to throw. This is a get-right game back at Arrowhead.
They're going to Browninghead?
They know it's crunch time. If Burrow was playing in this game, I'd take Cincinnati, though.
Yeah, but he's not. They're going to Browninghead, and they're going to get it done, hopefully. Oh, also, since it's 7, we might have to do it together. Kansas City wins by a touchdown.
Since if it does push, it hasn't happened yet this year. There hasn't been a push, but if it pushes, we got to do it together. So, I don't know, me and Reagan wake up in bed together and...
Yeah.
Or we do our own separate ones. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
figure it out.
I think the first one would be the best.
Yeah.
We don't got to worry about it unless they win by exactly 7. The Chargers at the Broncos. Broncos are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under 37.5. The battle of backup QBs.
Stidham
Your
versus
boy,
Stick.
Easton Stick.
I'm backing Stick.
Jared
Chargers
Stidham.
are getting done here, man. They played that Buffalo team great last week. They seem fired up. These guys probably played some of their best football all year. And guess who wasn't coaching them? Staley. So I have a lot of confidence in them getting it done. And I feel like the Broncos locker room is going to be a little split here. Like, the players see that. And I feel like that causes an issue when you see your quarterback who, while Russ might not have had the best season, he's still a good locker room guy. So you think all the players are going to be happy about that, seeing the way that the franchise is treating a guy. So I think that really is a big impact. And that's why I'm going to take the Chargers here, is because all this stuff going on in the locker room and stuff. And I feel like the Broncos are going to come out very flat in this game.
Everything screams the Chargers should win, which is why I'm taking the Broncos at home here with Jarrett Stidham. Let's not act like this Denver offense has been scorching the past few weeks. They've lost 3 of their last 4. The wheels are starting to fall off. That whole Russell Wilson thing about the contract, they apparently started talking about weeks ago, and then Denver went on a little bit of a winning streak. Once they started losing a little bit, it probably wore on them, and the relationship between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson was not there, which I think is a big part to why the offense has been struggling. Although I don't think Jarrett Stidham is a good quarterback, I do trust this Denver defense against Easton Stick. We did just see the Chargers get blown out. Now Staley's gone, but it's an ugly game, man. Not one I'm really looking forward to, But I think at home, Denver's defense does enough.
Yeah, why
Javonte
does this
Williams
game
has a
gotta-
good game.
Why does this have to be a 4:00 game? Like, let's switch it out with the Ravens Dolphins.
Yeah, there's 3 4 o'clock games, and it's like
Let's just not put this game on.
Yeah, it
You
sucks
don't
that
wanna
Red
watch
Zone's
this.
going to be cutting to this game a bunch.
at least it's not on primetime.
True.
Our primetime game this week. Oh wait, it is on primetime.
Yeah.
It is Sunday night.
No, what is?
Chargers Denver.
No, there's no
No, it's
Monday
not.
night game this week.
Oh, there's no Monday.
Yeah.
It's a fourth.
Oh,
It's
'cause
New Year's
the, it's
Day. Yeah,
the college
because
football playoffs. Yeah.
on
Okay.
Monday.
All right, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, wait, that was our second to last game.
Yeah, no, that'd be a awful Sunday night game.
That'd be brutal.
But this one's good. We can
This
get to
one's
see
good,
Nick
man.
Mullen
I
and
like
the
this
boys.
one. I think we can see some points scored. Green Bay at Minnesota. Minnesota's 1.5 point favorites. The over/under is 46. Reagan, you back in Mullen?
I'm back in Mullen. Yes, I am. I think he's gonna have a huge game. What's his?
Yes, he is.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. What's his line at? His passing yards line got to be damn near close to
Potential-
300.
None of those lines are accurate.
Damn, he's probably
Potential parlay leg for Reagan.
potentially that
You
or
want to
Jettas.
stack and you
Potentially.
go Mullins, I go Jefferson.
I don't know. You want to get some Addison in there? Maybe Drock gets a little Ty Chandler touchdown. Vikings same game parlay.
Addison has the
Vikings-
ankle. That makes
the
me a
40s
little
Vikings.
nervous.
40s
But
Vikings, yes. Milk
They-
can winners. Tattoo it on me.
I'm taking Minnesota as well. This Packers defense is god awful. I mean, everyone in Wisconsin is calling for Joe Barry to get fired.
Which screams Packers. Joe Barry gets it done. All right, you changed my
Yeah,
mind.
Joe Barry back against the wall.
I'm taking under
He
on
shows
Nick
out.
You know,
Mullen.
his back was against the wall after Tommy Cutlets, who now is benched, destroyed him. And then
No.
when Baker had a perfect passer rating, and then when Bryce Young threw for over 300.
So Joe Barry
So-
legacy game.
The fact that Nick Mullins threw for over 400 last week, I'd imagine he goes for 300 plus in this one. And if he's doing that without Hawkins in the picture, that means Justin Jefferson's going to have a field day.
Joe Barry
With
legacy
no
game.
Jair Alexander as well. I mean, I do think the Packers will score in this game. So the over under 46, I would lean over, but
I think over.
I think Minnesota hangs over 30.
Fair
I'm not
enough.
gonna lie. I think they get it done here,
I do
and
too.
they keep their playoff hopes alive.
Justin Jefferson over 100 receiving yards. Like maybe.
I don't know if you like taking minus 300 bets.
That's true. You think it will be?
I don't know. I'm not minus 300. I do feel like I feel like his line's gonna be damn near close to 100 just because Alexander's ruled out. No Hawkinson. I think it'll be damn near close
He
to
was low
minus-
80s last week, and he went for what 140.
Yeah, I think his line will be pretty close to 100.
It might be.
Yeah, it'll be like around
But
100.
still, I think that hits. So
I'll take him over 100. Yeah.
fair enough.
I would take him over 100. Yeah.
All right, guys.
I
Well,
called it.
that wraps up this episode. We will see you guys in the new year, 2024. Are you
See
ready?
you next year,
I'm ready,
fellas.
baby. I'm ready. See you next year, Felters.
Adios.
Feliz.